Thank you very much, Kaz. Well, the moment finally arrived last night.
Congratulations.
No, it's something else.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's actually the people around the whole world logging onto Netflix last night to find not one, not two, but 3 episodes from the new Harry and Meghan documentary. And after years of speculation, we got to hear their side of the story, their relationship, and also what happens beyond the tabloids.
We've been dating secretly since July.
We've been so petrified of when it would break. And H trying to prepare me for what that might be like, knowing what he had experienced in the past. And then he and his brother's communications secretary, Jason, called him to let him know that the story was scooped by a tabloid. He said, well, if it's going to come out tomorrow, then let's go and have fun tonight. And then I was going to be on hiatus.
Yeah. What about the unspoken narrative? A laugh, a look, all the private and candid moments. What the headlines don't report on. What does their body language really say about the royal couple? And we welcome body language expert Louise Mahler back to the show. Nice to see you, Louise.
Hi, good morning.
Wow, this is big. The Duke and Duchess were interviewed together and separately. Firstly, what were you seeing when they were there side by side? What did you take?
Side by side, I see a man completely besotted by her, madly in love, and I see a woman who plays that up, who does a lot of breathiness, and she talks about we were in a tent and there was an elephant rustling in the bushes, and he said he'd protect me. I'm sorry, but if there's an elephant in the bush, nobody's going to protect you. But there was actually a story that...
I mean, love conquers all. Even hooves.
Even elephants. I don't think so. But there was a beautiful story that showed their relationship when they first met, because he was an hour late, and she says, well, I don't tolerate this. Just not suitable behaviour, and I left. And then he goes, darling, but little, can I say, oh, and he's very reticent to say, and then he goes, actually, you were late for the second meeting? And she goes, yes. Well, I had to have a shower. As though, you know, that made a difference. So it showed that he is very reticent. She runs the whole show.
Yeah. Well, just on that, because when they were side by side, there was a story when she was talking about the curtsy to the Queen that she had to do, and it was Harry that I was actually watching in this moment. I don't know if we have a clip of it ready to go, but he looked incredibly, I don't know, uncomfortable. There was something, see how he's sort of watching her, and look, he looks off to the side. What a little smirk, but I don't know, there was something really awkward about the way he looked at her in this story.
And then he looks down.
Yeah.
I would adore him to do more of those looks. He's not a theatre person, and I know as a theatre person, you're always doing something theatrical, and people are going, oh, no, please don't do that. And he isn't like that himself. The whole story about the curtsy was disrespectful. If you went to a different country with a different culture, say Japan, and they said you had to bow, you would not make fun of that bow. You would see it as a creative opportunity. You wouldn't suddenly talk about, oh, in medieval times.
So do you think he was embarrassed in that moment?
I think he was definitely embarrassed in that moment, and one of the few moments he was embarrassed, and I think he should be embarrassed a lot more.
To be fair, we all embarrass our partners at times. I mean, you know, every time I hit the dance floor at a wedding, I'm sure my husband does that exact sort of look.
Every time you curtsy, it was like that. When Haz and Meg, or H&M, H&M, as they referred to each other during it, they were on camera solo. What did you notice when they were apart? Were they different people?
Well, Harry is somebody who obviously has low self-esteem. He talks constantly about a ginger, I'm a ginger, the whole time, as though that's a problem. And then he talks about his heartbreak, and you hear to this day his voice breaks. He goes, it wasn't fair, and his voice breaks. He's a heartbroken man, affected dramatically by his mother's death. And she constantly talks about freedom. I must be free, free, free. My favourite song, oh look, there's my favourite song about freedom. And then she speaks again about free. They kept dropping that word in a lot. So she accentuates that freedom is her core value, and he is a very heartbroken, sad man.
What about all we saw a lot of personal photos, so we learnt a lot, like, for example, they both love beanies. wearing them in their spare time, and you know, like obviously some pretty candid...
What does that say about someone?
I don't know what that says, but I'd like to have your take on it, Louise. Look, they were really candid photos, candid videos, things we hadn't seen, because obviously prior to that it was very staged.
They're not candid photos, they're staged photos. Everything they do is staged. I don't know about you, but I thought about bringing in a guitar and just whipping up a quick song. You know, we all played guitar when we were 16. When was the last time you whipped out your guitar, or with the puppies or with the dogs? I think that everything in their life is staged.
But we did
today.
actually...
Some people like playing the guitar,
to the dogs. Yeah.
To the dogs, yeah.
Meghan was quite naive going into the relationship in terms of her knowledge of the royal family, right? She didn't understand the press, she didn't understand the protocols. From how... Sorry?
Do you believe that for 1 minute?
Sorry, yes, I do, because who would really understand that world, even as an outsider? Nothing can... That's one of those jobs you cannot be prepared for. You're really learning on the job.
I understand that they get very little guidance in what they do. But when Meghan actually says there is no course that shows you how to use a fork, how to curtsy, actually, yes, there is. There are a lot of people who can help in that area, and she should have got the help.
But maybe it's the fact that, I mean, you know, you don't hit the yellow pages as soon as you start dating him and think, I've got to get that 8-piece fork course. You know, it's sort of, they were in a whirlwind romance, things happened quickly, and the eyes of the world were on them. And you know, it is hard looking up some of those courses.
I don't think they ever hit the pages, but somebody will know. Somebody can look it up. And I think the thing is that she didn't get that guidance, and we see it really clearly. So in the second episode, when it's all about her as a child, that was delightful. She was a gorgeous young woman with great prospects, and she wrote beautifully. She did great things. And then we see at the engagement photo, it changes. Her smile becomes teeth, that's it. Her eyes are dead. Her arms lock into her body, and she begins doing this weird gesture where she pushes her hair back like that, which is useless. What a useless gesture. Who does that?
I don't know who does that.
It sounds like our last publicity shoot. Louise, always lovely to get your views on things. We appreciate you coming in today.